Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels, and this is the SmackDown review for the 9th of July, 2021. Again, this show is abysmally bad for a network television show. So much of it feels like reruns. So much of it feels ineffective. So much of it feels insulting to the fans of the wrestling business over the last 30 or 40 years. Anyway, we'll run through it really quickly here. We should have more of the NXT review series up as well later this evening. Anyway, so they recap Edge returning a couple weeks ago, and he attacks Roman Reigns. They also replay Jimmy Uso calling out Edge last week. Jimmy tries to enter Reigns' locker room. Heyman doesn't allow it. Heyman notes Reigns is getting ready to go to the ring, and then after the opening video, Reigns is standing behind the curtain. Heyman approaches and tells him it's time, and they head toward the ring. Michael Cole and Pat McCaffrey note that this is the final Thunderdome show, and they are pushing Reigns versus Edge in the Money in the Bank pay-per-view or network preview as a first ever singles match. Then the Roman segment, they pipe in booze. Roman notes that there's a lot of stuff he didn't like about last week. He's angry that Edge claimed he's scared of him. Reigns also mentions that he had some seconds of fear when Edge had him in the crossface. And then Reigns asked any fighter and mentioned Brock Lesnar. Reigns said he used a few seconds of fear to beat Edge and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. He turns his attention to Jimmy Uso. Uso made his way to the ring, and then Uso points out that he called Edge out, but he was on vacation. Reigns notes he didn't ask Uso to call Edge out, and Reigns isn't there last week because he's busy taking care or talking to Jay. Jay's music hits and makes his way to the ring. He said he returned for all three of them. Jay then tells Reigns that his right hand man is back. And he also came back for Jimmy. He said he's here. Jimmy during these dark times. Jay's ready to be a tag team champion again. Reigns said all he ever wanted. He wants the Usos to be tag champs and to be the Universal Champion himself for as long as he wants. Reigns points out that they have to do things in a way which is together. Reigns opens his arms, embraces the Usos, and they hug and turn toward the camera. I don't know. I guess it's fine, but it also feels like a gigantic waste of television time. I guess you could argue that there's heel heat, but you've taken Roman as high as he's going to go as far as a heel, and you've done a masterful job of it. This just feels like filling time to fill time. So in the back, Kayla Braxton interviews Baron Corbin. He mentions his money problems. He promises to win Money in the Bank ladder match to get back on track. Qualifier, Nakamura defeats Corbin in just under 11 minutes. Match was fine, but it was way too long. They've had this match probably half a dozen times in the last couple of months, and I'm tired of it. Big E invites McCaffrey to sit with him on his couch. They make jokes about Corbin's hairline. It's a waste of time. Big E points out that he's never had a shot at the world title. They show footage from earlier today of Nakamura and Boggs driving around. Corbin jumps Nakamura as he makes the entrance. Match starts during commercial break, so that proves how important that match is to the people writing it. Corbin is in control, drops Nakamura on the top rope. Nakamura fights back and hits an enziguri, follows up with a running knee in the corner, and then hits a sliding knee for near fall. Corbin regains control, hits a back suplex for near fall of his own. Nakamura then knocks Corbin to the floor. Corbin hits Boogs at ringside, and then Nakamura rolls out of the ring. Corbin gives him a brainbuster on the announce table, which was a completely needless spot for free TV. We go to another break. We come back. Corbin goes shoulder first into the ring post. Nakamura is finally in control. Corbin hits a deep six for near fall. Corbin then tries to place Nakamura on the top rope. Nakamura fights back and locks on the triangle. Corbin then tries to fight back and hits a powerbomb. Nakamura holds on. Corbin makes it to the ropes and breaks the hold. Nakamura goes for the Kinshasa. Corbin counters with a clothesline. Finish comes. Nakamura hits a series of knees, and the Kinshasa for the win. Why this took 11 minutes, we have no idea. Nakamura qualifies for Money in the Bank ladder match, and in the back, Jimmy apologizes to Jay for everything, and Jay accepts his apology because they're family. Also, they wonder if they should try to take out Edge before things happen. Non-title match. Shotzi and Tegan Nox defeat the women's tag team champions Natalya and Tamina in just 3.25 minutes. Tamina and Natalya know that they were told they're taking on a mystery team. They demand that they come to the ring. Unfortunately, NXT girls making their debut actually makes me sad because it means they're going to be wasted here. Shotzi and Nox throughout the match is the reference. They were given very short amounts of time. Nox and Shotzi have an early advantage. Champions take over. Tamina nails with a hard clothesline and an elbow drop for near fall. Natalya then comes back going for a pin. Nox breaks up the pin attempt, following up with a cannonball on Tamina in the corner. Natalya then rocks Nox with a discus clothesline, taking her out of the match. Shots takes over on Natalya and hits the ball pit for the win. Megan is in the back interviewing Edge. He promises to call out Reigns later tonight. He wonders if Reigns has the guts to answer the challenge without the Usos. I wouldn't assume so. Anyway, Shotzi comes out, announces Bayley suffered an injury during training. She says she'll be out for 9 months, which is really, really sad. Bayley's one of the highlights of these shows over the pandemic. So sad to hear that she's been hurt. Earlier today, Bayley discussed her injury, not being able to take part in the Bianca Belair thing. She wishes DeVille wishes Bayley luck. They stripped the idea of a title match on the pay-per-view, and instead she'll defend it next Friday against Carmella. This is just pathetic. It shows how weak the women's division is on SmackDown. Carmella comes out, notes she's the most beautiful woman in WWE. Liv Morgan interrupts. She's angry that Carmella gets title shot. Morgan gets in DeVille's face, accusing her of favoritism. DeVille yells at Morgan to shut her mouth. She announced Morgan will take Carmella's place in a ladder match. Morgan hopes Carmella wins the title so she can cash in on her. SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair comes out. Belair doesn't know if Bayley's faking her injury or not. Belair can't wait to settle problems when she heals. Belair then told Carmella that she'd see her next week. Heyman tells Roman Reigns that Edge is going to call him out and that he questions his manhood. Tori Storm upcoming debut is pretty good here, although I'm not a huge Tori Storm fan. Anyway, Tony Storm. So Cesaro and Rollins have a decent match. They work hard and tell a good story throughout. Kevin Owens joins Pat McCaffrey and Michael Cole on commentary. Cesaro hits a backbreaker early, gaining an advantage, hits a crossbody for a near fall. Rollins rolls out of the ring, and he's angry by this thing. We go to break. We come back. Rollins sends Cesaro into the announce table and takes over. He then shoves Cesaro into the stairs. Rollins slows the pace down with a chin lock. Cesaro escapes, fights out with a backslide. Rollins then lands on his feet, nails Cesaro with a kick to the back of the head. Cesaro then fights out with uppercuts. Rollins then cuts him off. Cesaro climbs the top rope. Rollins cuts him off. Rollins hits a superplex, rolls through. He then goes for Falcon Arrow. Cesaro counters it, and they suplex each other over the top of the floor. We go to a break, come back. Cesaro and Rollins are in giant swing position, and Cesaro swings him around. Rollins cuts him off and hits a superplex. Cuts him off and then hits a sit-out powerbomb. Rollins then pulls out turnbuckle pad. Referee looks and doesn't seem to care. Referees don't care about rules. This is stupid. Anyway, Cesaro attempts the uppercut from the second rope, but Rollins counters. Rollins then drops Cesaro on the exposed turnbuckle, busts him open. Rollins goes on to win by countout, but Cesaro makes it back into the ring just in time. Rollins then knocks Cesaro back to ringside, gives him a DDT on the ramp, and then Rollins jumps back in the ring and tries to win by countout. Cesaro makes it back in, and Rollins goes for curve stomp, but Cesaro counters with a sharpshooter. Rollins then slips out, but Cesaro hits an uppercut. Cesaro falls to the mat, and Rollins hits a curve stomp for the win. Rollins qualifies for Money in the Bank ladder match. Uso approaches Edge at the locker room door. Jimmy went to knock on the door, but Jay tells him to wait until Edge leaves. Back from the break, Jimmy gets impatient waiting, so they run into Edge's locker room. He's not there. Jay notes that Edge is lucky he wasn't found out. Caleb Braxton interviews Seth Rollins. He celebrates qualifying for the ladder match. Notes that he cashed in on Roman Reigns once before. He still thinks he should be getting the title shot at Money in the Bank. And then Rollins says he may cash in Money in the Bank this time. Edge shows up to confront Rollins. Edge notes that Rollins complained when he took the title shot. Edge promised to call out Reigns. Rollins is furious and Edge walks away. They recap Otis destroying the Street Profits. In the back, Chad Gable notes that it doesn't matter if the Street Profits, Edge, or Roman Reigns. Otis adds they'll destroy everyone. Then we go to the final segment of the show. Edge mocks Roman Reigns and the Usos for returning earlier in the night. Edge shows shots of Reigns and Jimmy in the crossface. Reigns and Paul Heyman and the Usos watch on backstage. Reigns gives Heyman the title and tells him to stay in the back as well. Reigns walks to the ring. Jay thinks it's a trap. Usos head to the ring. Usos make their way to ringside. Reigns is unhappy that they showed up and says he wants to handle this without them. Reigns enters the ring and faces off with Edge. Edge and Reigns start brawling at ringside. Rey Mysterio's music hits. Rey and Dominic run out and attack the Usos. Usos recover from the beatdown from the Mysterios. Why are the baby faces doing a run in here? Edge hits DDT on Reigns, sets up the spear. Jay grabs Edge's leg, and then Jimmy hits a super kick. Mysterio jumps back into the ring, hits double 619 on the Usos. Edge then hits a spear on Jay. Edge breaks off a piece of chair and gives Uso the crossface with the bar. Reigns runs away and watches on from the ramp. Edge applies the crossface to Jimmy, and then Reigns walks away to end the SmackDown show. Abysmal show. I mean, I realized they had a lot they had to cover, but it's just truly sad. Anyway, till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.